2025 will soon be a memory, and tonight we will take a look back at the memorable and not so memorable moments in the world of sports. We have seen the rise of teams like the Patriots and the Jaguars and the Blue Jays. We've seen the fall of the Chiefs, the Lions, and a number of stars in the NBA. As well, Canada claimed international supremacy in a hockey tournament that we're probably never going to see again. Could the same thing happen for the 26 Winter Olympics? I know two of our panelists hope that is not the case. This is Voice of the Fans Canada.
You are listening to Voice of the Fans Sportscast, brought to you by none other than the voices of the fans.
Oh, Canada.
For Monday, the 29th of December, I'm Randy Coure. This is Voice of the Fans Canada. We are live on YouTube at VOF Canada. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow the rest of our social media. That is VOF Canada. It is that time of the year. Santa Claus has made his trip around the globe, and sports fans like you and me can reminisce of the 12 months that have passed in the world of sports. Here to help me out is tonight's panel, and they're going to do a great job in reminding us of the great instances that took place in the world of sports. My partner in crime, as always, Tony Antoniou, is here. Tony, how are you?
How are you? Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. How's everybody doing?
We're doing great. Merry Christmas to you as well, my friend. He is an honorary Canadian, but every time when he sees the Stars and Stripes, I'm sure a tear runs down his cheek with that patriotic pride. He is the host of Foursquare Sports, which you can find on 102.3 KIXB, the Island Experience in Washington State. As well, he is the co-host of the Talking Baseball with Sal Angelotti show on 107.7 The Bronx in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. Matt Siriani is back in the house. Matty, great to see you again.
It's been too long. I was worried you were going to take away my Canadian stripes and give it to Jake Cardinelli, but I'm glad.
No, no, of course not. Of course not. You have to do way worse to lose your Canadian pride. And not sure if he's interested in Canadian pride, but he is a great sportscaster. I've had the great chance to chat with him on Foursquare Sports. He is a co-host of Foursquare Sports. He is New Jersey true and true, but he has found himself in Houston, Texas. He is all about the Giants, the Devils, and the Knicks. His name is Kevin Zelicskovics. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us. How's it going?
It's going great, Randy. Excited to be on the show with you, of course, my buddy Matt here, and Tony. Excited to be on the show with you guys. Can't wait.
No, thank you so much for joining us. Absolutely. First, before we get into it, fellas, Tony mentioned about Christmas. Of course, I hope you guys did have a great holiday. The holidays have not finished yet. We of course have New Year's, but
Right.
How has Thanksgiving been and Christmas? I assume that you have to use more of the belt buckle with all the food that you guys have been gorging.
Absolutely. Yeah, my sister and I have two sisters, and then I had to coordinate how many pies they had to bring, and we had brought like 4 pies, like by accident. So we had like a ton of leftovers, and one was supposed to make mac and cheese, and the other one was supposed to bring something else. And then I guess they miscommunicated, and we never had mac and cheese. So I was so like bummed out. But luckily, we made up for it at Christmas dinner. We had mac and cheese. So there's that. And this shirt, this shirt, I got as a Christmas gift because me and my family did Secret Santa this year, and that was one of the gifts I got. So I had a nice Christmas gift.
Right on, right. I imagine that your Yankees. Oh, and of course, Kevin is all about the Yankees. I've failed to mention that, and I can imagine, Kev, that you got quite a bit of Yankee apparel with the jerseys and the hats. I went absolutely buck wild during the Jays playoff run. I don't really want to talk about how much I spent, but
Right.
yeah, no, it was a great time. Maddie, how about Christmas for you, buddy?
All right. Well, I like Kev. I got some Yankee stuff. I got Yankee socks. I got a Yankee calendar. I got a Yankee portable charger. But the biggest thing I got for Christmas, and you may notice it around my neck. I don't know if you're a religious fella, but
You got a cross. Okay, you got a cross.
I got a holy cross.
Beauty.
Right on. Very nice. And
Nice.
sorry, was that from your lovely lady or from
Oh,
family,
from my mom.
or
My mother gave it to me.
from your mom? Okay, Mrs. Siriani, you've raised a fine young man. Tony, how about yourself, man? How were the holidays for you?
Very, very busy and still is. I mean, I think I've spent about 16 hours worth of time in indoor soccer arenas over the last 3 days watching teenage girls soccer. So I'm happy to be here talking about professional men's sports, to be honest with you. But same thing. ate a lot of food and paying for it right now. Think I've developed diabetes and sleep apnea all at the same time, but it's all in good fun. It's all in good fun.
Yes, it is.
We'll get back on track in a couple of days here.
Absolutely. That's what the resolutions are for. So, before we get into it, guys, Maddie and Kevin, especially, around our parts with Tony and myself, with regards to sports, during the time between Christmas and New Year's, there really isn't a lot going on within our borders, and the bowl season and football with the NCAA doesn't really have a lot of intrigue in Canada. And really, it's about the World Junior Hockey Championship, which I appreciate may not have a scope at all in the U.S. What is it sports-wise for you guys that gets you going? Because I can imagine that there is quite a bit to watch during this time of the year.
I'll let Kevin go first.
Okay. For me personally, I guess throughout this course of like the season wrapping up and of course heading into the new year, for me, like I've been enjoying like seeing how the NFL's last week unfolds. Of course, heading into next week. I mean, we've seen the rise and fall of some teams like the Chiefs are eliminated, the Colts just got eliminated, and the Steelers and Ravens are going to be fighting for an AFC North title. And the Panthers against the Bucks are going to be fighting for a division title there. The Niners and the Seahawks are going to be battling for the number 1 seed in the NFC next week. And a great game last night between the Niners and the Bears that came down. It was back and forth, high scoring game, came down to the last play. So for me personally, I'm much looking forward to see how the rest of the NFL season unfolds as we head into the next week here.
And that being said, NFL football is quite popular, very popular within Canada as well. And I know that Tony, being a Bills fan, and I've jumped on the bandwagon as well.
Right.
But certainly the NFL and everything with the NBA, of course, is a lot for Canadians. Maddie, how about yourself?
Well, I'm around the same boat as Kevin when it comes to that time between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Like, obviously, the NFL playoff race heats up, getting ready for the playoffs. The NBA season starts to take its place as significant. The NHL has been very significant too. I know that the Colorado Avalanche are on pace to break the Boston Bruins of 2022, their points record, which is insane. Who would have thought that? And then just the baseball offseason, although this baseball offseason has been kind of quiet, but I guess for the most part, I guess football has really been the key focus over the last 4 weeks.
I'm a little surprised that you guys didn't mention the bowl season. I would have thought that you guys would be more interested in that.
Never thought about that.
Like you guys aren't interested in college football, because I thought that
oh my god, oh my god,
okay.
that didn't come to my head.
But Tony and I, we remember just a small number of bowl games. Like, Tony, help me out, between the Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, the Sugar Bowl. But now there's all these corporate bowl games, and it's just, to me, it seems watered down. Like, I know that you two obviously don't know what it was like in the early 90s and even the 80s, but like, what do you guys think of bowl season in college football? I mean, I'm assuming that you guys still have a great amount of interest in college football.
I mean, bowl games are fun because, especially for the seniors who are looking to up their draft stock going into the NFL draft this upcoming year, it's good for them to at least showcase one more time, because scouts are going to be at bowl games. Scouts, just like how scouts are going to be at regular games, to watch these up and coming young players who, as they try to pursue an NFL career. But bowl games, like the Rose Bowl and the Peach Bowl, like the main bowls, their significance now is for college football playoff purposes. But for other bowl games like the Pop-Tart Bowl and the Pinstripe Bowl, those are more so for business, and also just like making money for businesses like Pop-Tarts. I don't even eat Pop-Tarts, but it's still a good way to showcase talent. Once upon a time, they had the Outback Bowl. I used to work at Outback Steakhouse. That was where I met Big Al once upon a time. But bowl games are always fun, especially because of the fun behind them and like the profit these businesses make.
Yeah.
There's been a problem though with NIL being in the picture, that a lot of guys skip bowl games now too. I mean, if it's there's the new playoff structure, what is it, up to 12 teams now?
12,
and
yeah.
There's been a lot of controversy with that, obviously, with Notre Dame being excluded from it this year. But now you're getting into the problems of a lot of guys skipping bowl games because it's right in the middle of the transfer portal as well. So they're thinking of where they're going to be next season, or they're thinking about the NFL draft as well. And if it's not a big playoff game, so there's been an issue with that too. How do you guys feel about that?
So definitely is a big problem. It actually sickens me to hear that athletes skip out on bowl games like this, because it actually, like you mentioned, like not just athletes, teams skip out on bowl games. Like, for instance, Notre Dame were given a bowl game offer and they declined that because they were pissed about not making the playoff. So it's just like one of those things where it's like, you want to see them play. You want to see it's kind of like with the NBA where the top players decide to sit a game. It's kind of like that, where you want to see the top players perform. You want to see the best players in the country take the field and maybe surprise and amaze people. And I don't like it that does that. And NIL definitely has something to do with it, because money talks. And unfortunately, college football, they're going to have a crisis on their hands within the next few years. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
What is there something that could be done with the transfer portal? Because it just seems that now, I don't follow college sports a lick of it. I don't know a single thing about it. But from what I do understand is that there are a lot of star prospects that go to a different school during their time in NCAA. Is that something that Division I should be looking at? Because I think that there is something lost. I mean, forget about the fact that when star athletes, when they spend 15 plus years for one team and then they have like a cup of coffee with a second team, that it loses some of its luster. Whether you guys agree with that or not is one thing. But, to have a run at one school, you're leaving that first school high and dry. I mean, like I get money talks, but should the NCAA do something about transferring, from school to school?
I'd like to Kevin take this one actually.
I think it definitely is a problem that definitely could be addressed. I don't know the exact solution for it, but to Matt's point about how like money talks and stuff. I mean, you're seeing all these schools that have like oil money with all these investors that they have at their disposal. Like Texas Tech, for example, like they have billionaire investors that have invested so much into the team, and you're seeing the resources and the expenditures come out of it. Texas Tech is one of the best teams in college football, and they could go for a deep football playoff run. And even I heard that I think it was Utah, right, Matt, that where they're investing into like a private like expenditure firm, and they're going to be working with them to try to get like more resources there. So it's like the money I feel like is as big of an issue as the transfer portal is, and plus you also have that recent case where we go from college football to college basketball in this instance. The professional European player James Nagy, he plays professional basketball, mind you, and he decides to go from professional basketball and commits to Baylor to go back to play college. I don't agree with that. Now, when I saw that, I thought that's the most ridiculous thing. I don't think a professional player should go back to college. Because at this point, like, what's next? Is LeBron James at 40, whatever years old, going to go back and play with Akron? I mean, like, I think it's kind of ridiculous at that point. But I definitely think that there needs to be a structure in place to where stuff like that can't happen. NIL money shouldn't be like the end-all, be-all, like if you want to be a good team. And I think the transfer portal definitely needs to be structured in a way to where it provides an even playing field for most of the schools, because some of the schools like Division II, Division III, even like in the college football playoff, for instance, like there were some teams that got left out that I definitely should have thought that should make it. Like Vanderbilt.
Why does that happen? Why does that happen? You guys are educating me on this. Notre Dame was left out. Like, is it a selection process, or is there actually a point system formula that
there's a committee?
There's a committee.
There's an insistence. I think the other problem is there's an insistence on inclusion, right? We're handing out participation medals at this point, and that's another part of the problem with the sports. It's I've this inclusion thing and equity is in sports is such bullshit. Where you have smaller schools in these where they don't deserve to be like I don't know, their schedules haven't been challenging enough to justify them being in these playoff situations. So it's the insistence on inclusion that has helped water down this thing too, instead of having the best of the best. But at the end of the day, I think the genie's it's going to be hard to put the genie back in the bottle. Because like you said, money talks, and the same people who were crying for these college athletes to be making money how many years ago are the same ones who are now talking about something's got to be done. Well, it's out there. It's over.
Yeah. I mean, Tony, like you seem to be more versed in, the bowl process than me. Like, I'm wondering, okay, so like in soccer, you have UEFA Champions League, then you have Europa League. So can't the, Power Five conference schools have take part in the elite bowl games, and then you have the smaller schools playing in the Pinstripe Bowl or whatever? Could that be the case? Could that potentially happen, or does that happen already? Where instead of everybody being included, that you just simply have the Power Five in a set of bowl games here, and then everybody else in the lower bowl games? Or is that how it's done?
I guess. I mean, the basketball has the NIT tournament. I don't know if it still does. Does it?
They still have it, yeah.
They still do the NIT. So maybe football could have a variation of that. But I mean, it's like these guys mentioned, there's a lot of money behind it too. If I'm not mistaken, the Indiana team is heavily funded by Mark Cuban.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that's right.
So you're talking about big name players with money behind this thing. Are they going to be satisfied pumping all this money into these programs only to end up in an NIT situation? I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
But I'm not as versed as you gentlemen. I'm just, just based on some things I'm hearing, and just, I try and follow college football as much as I can. There's a couple of podcasts I listen to that spend a lot of time on it. And from my understanding, it's, like Matt mentioned, there's big time money behind it. And this insistence on inclusion, is kind of killing it, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. And when I was a younger guy, Tony, as well, like I just remember January 1st being the Rose Bowl, and that tradition, I think, is very special, and it'd be kind of cool to see that come again, because I think that consistency is really brings the magic to sports, and in this case, college football. But hey, it was. And obviously, when the New Year rolls around and we get deeper and deeper into January, the NFL playoffs will start. And Tony, hey, the Buffalo Bills met that evil monster of Patrick Mahomes in the beginning of the year, and the Chiefs did come back with a win on their way to the Super Bowl. And Buffalo, they have qualified for the playoffs, but they are not going to be taking the AFC East. Getting back to last year's playoffs, like how emotional was that to go up against and fall short to Kansas City? I can imagine that Leaf fans feel the same thing with the Florida Panthers, and the Raptor fans feel the same thing about LeBron James when he was in the Eastern Conference. It must have been a tough pill for you beginning of the year.
Not really. Not this time around. I expected it. You become numb. You become numb to it. But they're not there, so there's a chance this year. I felt last year's team was, to me, not good enough. I didn't like their defense, and they kind of proved me right. And I don't feel too differently about this team going into it, although it looks like their defense is getting a little better over the last few weeks. Now their offense looks helter-skelter, so I don't know what to think. But no, I wouldn't say I was emotional going into it. I kind of expected the outcome that took place.
Well, help me out here. I mean, how surprised were you with the New England Patriots this year? They had what kind of swing did they have from last year?
9-win turnaround.
They have a 9-win turnaround. That's the biggest turnaround in the NFL. Jacksonville, I think we're going to be talking about them in a second as well. But the New England Patriots, they found their replacement to Tom Brady. I mean, Drake May, could he possibly take MVP honors? Like, how surprised are you of the turnaround of the New England Patriots?
Well, obviously the turnaround to this extent is a big surprise, but I think a lot of experts, and if you just watch this kid play, knew that there was potential there, knew that there was a quarterback somewhere there. But it's the old adage, you find me a good coach, and you'll find a good quarterback as well. As long as you have that combination, it's very strong. And all due respect to Gerard Mayo, but he wasn't it. And you bring in Mike Vrabel, who has had success, knows the organization well, and doesn't have the ego to bring in a guy like Josh McDaniels back into the mix to run that offense. And that's been an absolute key for them as well. So the massive turnaround was not seen, but I'm not surprised really, because a lot of people had this this kid highly touted coming into it, knew that the potential was there, and now you have the right coaching around him.
Yeah. And we'd be way too presumptuous to say if Jackson Dart has the kind of potential. But from what I saw, Maddie, he seemed to fit in quite nicely. And now he is done for the year, I believe. Help me out here.
I hope not, because I'm going to the last game of the season on Sunday, so I hope not. But no, you mentioned Jackson Dart. There's some positives. There's a lot of positives. He's polished. I hate the fact that he doesn't slide and he takes hits and gets concussed a lot. That's the one thing that he really needs to clean up his game on. But the young man is poised. I think he just needs to be coached better. I think, like we said about Drake May, you give him a good coach, you would be amazed to see what this guy does. And Drake May went from being labeled a bust early on to getting MVP chance everywhere he goes. It's actually kind of amazing how much he's soared this year. But Jackson Dart's case, the Giants are just not a good team. I hate to say this as a Giants fan, but it's true. They're not a good team.
But sorry, Maddie. Now, why the coach of the Giants before he got Gable?
Brian Dable.
Thank you. And when Jackson Dart was doing the concussion protocol and Dable was right by the tent trying to get that, to me was just so sickening to see. And then they got a new coach. They seem to turn it around slightly, but now they're back. It hasn't been a worthwhile season, I suppose. But am I wrong to say that there may be some potential leading with Jackson Dart to get something going maybe next year after in New York?
Well, Kevin, I know I've talked about this a lot on Foursquare. The Giants have I've had a lot of injuries this year and just a lot of bad luck. A lot of their losses, apparently they can't hold leads in the fourth quarter, which is damning because they play well to begin games and then they break your heart in the worst ways possible. Kickers can't kick field goals. Kickers can't kick extra points. We miss tackles. I could go on and on and on, but Kevin's been through this too, so he knows.
Yeah,
absolutely. We've been through we're on our fourth kicker, by the way. When he mentioned the kickers, we're on our fourth kicker.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I remember when not Younghoe Koo, but anyway, I'm sorry. I was thinking of Koo for the Giants, but it wasn't him. But
that's fine.
Yeah, no, it must be well, hey, as a Leaf fan, I know I can feel your pain. But hey, Maddie, before we get on to the AFC, I mean, how about the NFC North? The Chicago Bears. I mean, you want to talk about turnarounds. The Chicago Bears have a 6-win turnaround. And the Packers, they've made the playoffs, it looks like. They have qualified for the playoffs, but they've dropped a little bit. It's just been a complete flip of the standings as it is right now from last year. Can the Chicago Bears be as big a surprise as the New England Patriots? Who saw this coming?
What's cool about this playoff for both conferences that you're going to get a lot of new faces in there. A lot of new teams that haven't been there in a long time. Bears have been NFC North champions since 2018. It's been 7 years. And they pulled all, they beat the Packers at home. They haven't done that in a long time. You have Caleb Williams on pace to maybe throw for 4,000 yards. That hasn't happened in the franchise's 106-year history. I mentioned this before. Their 4K passer drought is just about as long as the Cubs World Series drought. It's that ridiculous. But the Bears could be a surprise. I mean, the NFC, there aren't a lot of major. I mean, Philadelphia, they won their division, but they're not as strong as they were last year. If anything, they're riding a little bit of luck. And then the wild cards. I mean, the NFC West is stacked from head to toe. But right now, if things hold up the way they are, the Bears are playing the Packers, a banged up Packers team, and Lily Schumacher should put mute on this one because I think she's not going to want to hear this, but the Bears could beat the Packers if they were to face the playoffs again. I stand firmly by that. You want to know why? Because they're riding a wave of confidence and momentum. They did it before. They could do it again, and the Packers are not at full strength right now, and they're not even using their players correctly. Chicago could definitely win the wild card game. Do I think they can make it to the Super Bowl? Maybe. I think they can make it to the NFC Championship game, possibly. Like, the problem is getting past an NFC West team like Seattle, LA, or San Francisco. That's where the challenge really comes into play. But the Bears could definitely make a surprise run.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess it would have been a big surprise when all those years ago when the Bears made the Super Bowl against the Colts and they had Rex Grossman leading them to the Super Bowl. What was that, 2007?
2006.
2006, yeah.
Kevin knows that name very well because I put his name in trivia a couple times and he guessed Rex Grossman a couple times.
You asked me 2 questions that had him as an answer, and I chose not to give the same answer.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin, talk about teams that, be surprised to make the Super Bowl. I mean, this season just seems to be chock full of surprises, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are certainly one of them as well. They have an 8-game swing compared to last year. I thought Trevor Lawrence was I thought he wasn't going to make it in the league. But, I mean, regardless, I don't even know how Jacksonville has got there. But could the Jaguars – they just seem to be such a forgotten team. I mean, they've been in the league for over 20, 25 years now, and they haven't, of course, made a Super Bowl. Could the Jags make it and be a team that could be a force in the playoffs?
Absolutely, Randy. I mean, if you look at what the Jaguars were, nobody had them being this good this season going into the season. We already knew that they meant business whenever they traded up to number 2 in this past year's draft and acquired Travis Hunter, the Heisman Trophy winner. And to see what they were able to do with him hurt for the rest of the year, and then pick up a guy like Jacoby Myers at the trade deadline, who has been their best wide receiver, along with guys that have gone unnoticed, like Parker Washington, Brenton Strange, Brian Thomas Jr. has been doing it all season long. This is a Jacksonville Jaguars team that's really come into their own. And Liam Cohen, I think, is doing a great job as a head coach. Trevor Lawrence is finally playing how he did when he was in college in Clemson, and everything is starting to come together. And the Jaguars, they've beaten some quality teams. If you look at the teams that they've beaten the Texans, who are a playoff team. They've beaten the Niners, who are in contention to get the number one seed in the NFC. They beat the Chiefs back when they still had Mahomes and they were still in contention earlier on in the year. They beat the Chargers. They crushed the Chargers. They beat the Colts twice, once when Daniel Jones was still healthy, and once with Philip Rivers back. And they beat the Broncos. And so if you ask me, I would argue that the Jaguars are the best team in the AFC, because the reason I say that is because everyone likes to point at, the Broncos and the Patriots. But keep in mind, the Jaguars beat the Broncos 34-20. And if you look at the Patriots' schedule, it's very light. It's one of the easiest schedules of this entire football season. If you look at the Patriots' schedule, they've really only beaten one really good team, and that being the Buffalo Bills back in Week 5 when they beat them 23-20. And their losses, they lost to the Aaron Rodgers Steelers, and they lost to the Raiders Week 1. And the Raiders right now are in position to grab the number 1 seed. And they did lose to the Bills in their second meeting. And the schedule for the Patriots, again, very light. They verse Dolphins, Panthers, back when we didn't know what to expect from them. The Saints, the Titans, the Browns, Falcons, Bucks, Jets, Bengals, Giants, Ravens, and Jets. And then their last game is against the Dolphins next week. So are the Patriots a good team? Absolutely. But they haven't really been battle-tested as much as say, the Jaguars have. So that's the only reason I say that. But absolutely, the Jaguars can be a legitimate threat. I wouldn't be shocked if the Jaguars made it to the AFC Championship game, because I do think they have the pieces that can get it done.
And one thing I want to add to Kevin's point really quick about the Jacksonville Jaguars, and mentioning New England for a second. I saw earlier today the New England Patriots have fewer wins against teams above 500 than the New York Giants.
Correct. Yeah.
That's about as shocking and as disturbing about their schedule as it says about anything. And it could be a little bit of a reality check when they do get in the playoffs because this team is very inexperienced. If any team's going to get to the AFC and represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, other than Buffalo, I think Jacksonville might be the best team to do it.
Yeah.
Well, how much more easier was New England's schedule over Buffalo? I apologize if you guys don't know off the top of your head, because what I'm wondering is because Buffalo and New England are in the same division. Tony, like, do you know off the top of your head, like, is Buffalo's
Buffalo still had to play the Ravens this first game of the season. They had the Steelers. They've had the Chiefs. They had now these are teams that now have losing records. They've had the Eagles. Help me out. Who am I missing? Denver. They had a Denver game. Okay. Houston. They caught Houston when they were just absolutely flying. That was another loss for the Bills this season. Don't sleep on the Texans either, boys. They're playing some very good football, and they're a tough team defensively. So are the Jaguars. Both teams are playing really, really good defensively as well. But, the Bills have definitely – I mean, they do have the benefit of that division playing Miami and the Jets. I get it, but their schedule has been pretty tough overall. I think I've just fired off some pretty good football teams that they've faced.
Yeah, no, it definitely sounds like it has been the case. This question is for Kevin, but I'd love to get the rest of your opinions as well, because obviously Patrick Mahomes has just had some start to a career. I mean, wow. And he obviously went down with the ACL injury, but the Chiefs were sputtering when he was in the lineup. And now with this the road to recovery being very difficult because it is such a severe injury. I mean, between that, Kevin, the injury, or that Travis Kelce maybe playing his last game when the season comes to an end, which do you think would be the tougher challenge for Patrick Mahomes when he gets back?
I mean, I think obviously it's got to be the recovery from the ACL injury, because most of the time, whenever it kind of really depends on the player for how they recover. But sometimes most of the time, whenever you come back from an ACL, people say you never played the same again. Like we saw people saying the same thing when Alex Smith went down when he had an ACL injury. He came back and took him a little bit of time to get back to where he needed to be, but then he won comeback player of the year that year. Aaron Rodgers tore his ACL in his first game when he was a Jet. When he came back, he wasn't as flashy as he is now with the Steelers. So it kind of really depends on how the player recovers from a serious injury like that. Now, losing Travis Kelce, I think, is going to be a big blow, especially for the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, because Travis Kelce has been the best tight end in that franchise's history. And he had the franchise record in receptions and touchdowns, I believe. So with him gone, you're going to have to try to see a different guy come in and fill the void for Patrick Mahomes whenever he does come in healthy. And also the struggles with Patrick Mahomes, believe me, I had him in fantasy as my quarterback, so I know all too well about his struggles and what has been gone through it. But the pieces that he has, I mean, I remember a few things. Rashee Rice was suspended for the first 6 games of the year, so he had to kind of ride the ship with different receivers like Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Travis Kelce, Noah Gray, even to a certain extent. And then when he came back, then with Rice back into the forefront, then you kind of see the passing game start to get a little bit better. The running game, outside of Kareem Hunt, Pacheco was hurt, and the running game is kind of non-existent for the Chiefs. The secondary is left exposed. Then the defensive line was just not there, even with Chris Jones leading the front like he always does. But this Chiefs team just last year, I think they were undefeated. I think it was 12-0 or something in one-score games. This season, they've been awful in one-score games. They've not been able to get themselves out in front when it matters in those final waning moments of a game. Just haven't been able to do that this season. And that's ultimately a big reason why. It's not just because of Pat Mahomes' shoddy play or even the injury itself. It's more of because the team just doesn't really come together in those closing minutes. It doesn't really push through to get those wins. But I would say definitely recovering from an ACL injury like that is definitely going to provide Mahomes more of a challenge as opposed to losing a guy like Kelce, when if you're on a team like Mahomes, you could pass it to anybody and make him the next Kelce.
Well, that's possible. But Tony, Matt, what do you guys think? I mean, now the Chiefs have played a lot of football over the past few years, and maybe maybe they're getting too tired, maybe they're getting what have you. But I don't know. I mean, of course, sure, they have a lot of weapons, but between it to me, it seemed that when Kelce goes, Patrick Mahomes is going to take a step back. How far off am I?
You want? I'm never going to count that dude out. He's been too successful, and I don't think he's just going to sit back and say, "Oh, Travis Kelce's gone and my knee hurts" or anything like that. I think he'll battle back as long as Andy Reid's there and he's there. They should be fine. Now, having said that, there has been regression. You've seen some declining numbers from him prior to the injury, I'd say, and I think Kevin nailed it last year. They were winning a lot of tight games. This year, they're not. That's really the difference between the two teams from this year to last year. They were squeaking it out. They were living on borrowed time, for lack of a better term, and I think it caught up to them this year. And but not only do I think he can come back strong, I think he'll probably be there for opening day of the season somehow. I think he'll miraculously he'll find a way to strengthen that knee and get it back and ready for the season. I'm not ready to count them out, but there are things he needs to adjust in his game for sure. I mean, there's decision making, there's certain movements coming out of the pocket. I mean, I don't know if he'll be able to run as much as he is used to. And I think all quarterbacks who play that style have to think about the next phase and what kind of adjustments you can make to make yourself better. But I'm certainly not counting Pat Mahomes out. As a Bills fan, there's no chance I'm counting him out. He haunts me in my worst nightmare. So it's you know what, at the end of the day, no matter what rivalry or not, it's tough to see players go down like that. You want to see great players playing all the time, and you don't want to see that happen to him. So I wish him a speedy recovery. And by the way, Aaron Rodgers had an Achilles injury, not an ACL, and at 40 years old, that's a tougher thing to come back from.
He was flirting. He was flirting with the idea of coming back towards the. I mean, I don't know how legit it was, but I mean, apparently the recovery was very quick, and for a 40-year-old guy to do that was very impressive.
Apparently, the doctor is like a superhero doctor that gave like this amazing surgery that made his recovery faster. I can't recall like what kind of surgery he got, but it was like this miraculous surgery that made him feel like he's 32 again with his knee.
And the ayahuasca too.
I mean, like, who wasn't thinking ayahuasca, right?
That's good.
Ayahuasca.
Maybe he had a supersized ayahuasca. Yeah.
But I want to touch on something that Tony said about Mahomes. I think the AFC has gotten better. Like, even if Patrick Mahomes comes back in full strength, even if Travis Kelce retires, I think the AFC just got better. Bo Nix has officially emerged as a contender now, and the Broncos are going to be a great team for years to come, as long as Bo Nix continues this upward trajectory that he's been on. Drake May is going to get a harder schedule next year, and the Patriots are going to get a harder schedule next year, because one of the reasons why the Patriots had an easy schedule was because they were a last-place team. When you're a last-place team, you play crap teams. That's how it goes. So it's going to – I think next year going to be a test for Drake. Yeah. I think Drake Giants case. Oh my God! Don't even remind me about that. But like Josh Allen and the Bills are always going to be there, although they are absolutely like getting chance after chance after chance. Their window is closing slowly but steadily. And one thing that both Tony alluded to and Kevin alluded to, I'm going to put it in a very blunt way. The Kansas City Chiefs last year were winning games in the damnedest of ways. It was like insane how they were winning some of their games last year. And I think luck turned on them this year for sure. But it was also a regression for sure. I think like if Mahomes is going to get back to the Super Bowl again, and I think he'll get back to the Super Bowl again, his big thing is he has to play smart. And I think Andy Reid is going to help them out with that. I think whether or not their coaching staff changes, I think that's going to be crucial for him. But torn ACLs are going to be hard to recover from. You're not going to be the same as you were before the injury. And, Travis Kelce, I don't know whether or not he's going to retire or not. Apparently, Taylor Swift was at the last Chiefs game, so maybe that means something. But even if it meant something or not, I think the Chiefs are going to be just about the same. Kelce was on his way out the door anyway. I think he's more so thinking about the wedding day than the next offseason.
Yeah, well, he's got a lot on his plate. And, of course, I do enjoy football for sure. But I also enjoyed seeing Taylor on the TV for the 5-second blip there. I know that a lot of football fans were,
So you're the one that does.
That's me. Yes, and
you're the one that does. Okay,
100%. Because that woman is, sheesh. Anyway, guys, what was the biggest story of the NFL season? There was a lot of surprises, and I'm sure you guys got something that you thought took the cake as we creep closer and closer to the playoffs.
Okay.
Well, I'll say as a whole for the entire season, I think like the biggest storyline of this season has been like the parity of teams that are actually like good this year, and the amount of injuries, especially to superstar players. Like the amount of ACL injuries this season is blasphemous. Like when you look at it, like there have been a ton of superstars that have gotten hurt this season. The injury bug has really plagued them. The parity of teams, like I said, like the teams that weren't good that are now good now, like the Jaguars, the Broncos, the Steelers to an extent, the Texans, like coming with their defense, and teams that are good but are not in playoff contention currently, like the Bengals, the Chiefs, Ravens pending. We'll see what happens in that Steelers game, but they could be out of the playoffs as well. It's just the parity, I think, and the injuries are the biggest thing for me that I've seen this season.
All right. My biggest story. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, Tony. Go ahead.
No, you got it, Matt. Go ahead, man.
Okay. My biggest storyline of 2025 when it comes to the NFL has got to be bad teams thrive in 2025. And the reason why is because while Kevin alluded to it, like we're seeing teams that usually aren't in the playoffs are in the playoffs, but the turnarounds are insane. Like when the Patriots are going to be on pace for maybe a 10-win turnaround if they win in their final game. 10-win turnaround. That's the NFL record for biggest swing in NFL history. So there's that. The Jaguars, the Bears. Kevin did mention the Bears, but that's a big one because the Bears haven't been this good in 7 years. And Chicago, where are you at? Because right now I think you have a legitimate shot to actually do something this year, pending if luck is on your side. But I think the Bears are the biggest story when it comes to turnarounds.
Tony?
Sadly, you guys are all wrong. Sadly, and this is sadly.
You haven't heard mine. You haven't heard mine yet, and I'm sure I'm wrong as well, but please go ahead.
The biggest story, unfortunately, of 2025 in football has been Shedeur Sanders, a 5th-round pick in the NFL draft. And I don't agree with it, but the fact that we are having this much discussion about the 5th-round pick just shows you what our media is like these days, the sports media, the prime sexuals, the guys who like the suck on the ass juice of the Sanders family, that we are focusing on a 5th-round pick. Now, having said that, I hope it works out for the kid. I've got nothing against him. He's a little bit of an arrogant prick, but he's very unpolished and he's got a long way to go. But this is the constant conversation I hear when I click on, Twitter or Instagram. Is got Ryan Clark screaming at the top of his little feminine lungs about how he's being hard done by. I have never seen a bunch of supposed alpha males cry for a kid like the media does for Shedeur Sanders, and unfortunately, it's making it must-see TV. Like I'm watching this kid play because I'm just like, and I guess it's working. I guess whatever the Sanders family is trying to do, it's working because, between between Ryan Clark and Skip Bayless, who is just an absolute nut job on the internet every day, and of course Shannon Sharp. I mean, just it's the story of the NFL, whether you like it or not. That's the story of the NFL.
Tony, do you think that him being in Cleveland has something to do with it? I get it. It's Deion's kid. Deion Sanders has this mega personality, and he was doing his thing in Colorado, and whatever kind of interference he was running with Shedeur's upbringing into the game and so on. But what about the fact that he is playing for the Browns? Let's say that he was in Green Bay, like with all the quarterbacks that have run through Green Bay, between Favre and Rodgers, Jordan Love's doing pretty good. I mean, Cleveland has been just an absolute black hole for quarterbacks. And if there's a possibility that Shedeur Sanders could lead the Browns to some sort of prominence, do you think that there's something that there may be a link there?
I don't know. I don't know if I think he could be on any team right now. He could be backing up Josh Allen. He could be the third quarterback for Josh Allen. I think the Sanders family would find a way to make it about him, to give him the attention, right? Like I just feel that this is a lot more than just a football player. There's constant camera crews following him around.
Yeah.
He's a walking reality television show. I mean, even the whole Colorado thing is such a joke. I mean, he had his number retired, barely a 500 record, and they were an absolute disaster this year again. It's like you're watching a Twilight Zone fantasy reality. Just it's so odd. So whether you like it or not, he is the story of the NFL.
And to touch on Tony's point about Shedeur Sanders, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Draft Day, but I would equate Shedeur Sanders as a real life Bo Callahan, where like in Draft Day they didn't pick the guy when he was going to be a clear consensus number one because of I don't think he's got the right attitude for it. And let's call Shedeur Sanders pick in the 5th round for what it was, a pity pick. And he's going to be saying like, I'm going to make every single one of you teams that passed on me make you pay. The Browns passed up on you 3 times. So it's everybody, even the team that drafted you. They drafted Dylan Gabriel before you. So it wasn't even like that. Like teams literally didn't want you. The Browns didn't want you. They wasted their final pick on you. And I'm so glad that the Giants did not get him because he was projected to come to us. Thank goodness we got Jackson instead. Go ahead.
One thing I got to mention too about this whole thing. First off, I screamed at the top of my lungs, but we didn't get Shedeur Sanders. That's number one. Number two, the stories surrounding Shedeur on draft day are actually kind of cruel because there were stories that he was getting prank called by
that wasn't right.
That wasn't right at all. I guess that's one of the reasons why people pitied the guy because he was literally getting pranked that he was getting drafted and. Obviously that's not cool, and fans kind of felt bad for him. But this guy is not level-headed with his attitude. His play is inconsistent. And yes, he's Deion's kid. He's going to get the spotlight for that. But like Kevin said, it was such a pity pick. It really was such a pity pick.
Yeah. Yeah, great choice there, Tony. For me, I got to say, and what could have been, but I'm going to go with Daniel Jones. I thought that it was just he had such a great start. Then he got the injury, and then he was done for the year. But in the beginning, I don't know if his play tailed off, but there was some murmurs of MVP for this guy. Like
at one point, yeah.
And everybody thought that he was just an absolute joke. He goes to Indianapolis and then turned it around. I thought it was really inspiring. I think Shedeur, though, I think that was pretty funny, though. Well done, Tony.
Oh, my God.
So why don't we make
that? Take a clip of what of what Tony said, and we'll send it to John Welch. He'll probably crack up for days.
Yeah, it sounds good. I'll be sure to do that 100%. Why don't we make our way to the ice, fellas? Kevin, obviously, in my neck of the woods, Tony's neck of the woods, hockey is what football is to you guys. And hockey has been really desperate for international competition for many, many years. To be perfectly honest, as a young child, one of my first sporting memories was the 1987 Canada Cup. And it was such a great tournament, and it's been so long and it's been so sporadic to see the best on best of the hockey countries. And the NHL did put a tournament together of the Four Nations Faceoff, and not a lot of people were expecting it to be as intense as it was. And when Canada and the United States played in the round robin game, they had 3 fights in 9 seconds, and they had so much positive news that came out of that tournament. What was your thoughts of the Four Nations? Number one, and because the Olympics in Milan are going to be a couple months away, like, are you looking forward to seeing pro NHLers take part in the Olympics for the first time in over a decade?
Yeah, absolutely. The Four Nations Face-Off, I thought was a massive success. I told this to Matt, John, and Alec on our show Foursquare. I thought the Four Nations Face-Off was 1,000 times better than the NBA All-Star Weekend by far.
Oh,
because
sure.
Yeah, it was just entertainment to the max. I really liked all the Four Nations plays. Sweden, Finland, USA, and Canada. The USA and Canada match games alone, I thought were just pure cinema. Like that first game, USA against Canada, I thought that was as good as it's going to get until they faced each other again in the final game, and it was a fight till the very end. Like that was the year that Connor Hellebuck was like in contention to be the best goalie in the league, and then Connor McDavid, Connor McJesus hits the game putting goal past him. Yeah. And Jordan Bennington, I mean, like he's been doing it well, like ever since he won the cutback with the Blues. It was 2018, 2019, something like that. But doing it again for Team Canada, it's his revenge. I love seeing it, man. And I was saying Team Canada all the way. I think Team USA can give them a run for their money, but I was saying Team Canada, and I was correct. It's going to be a dogfight, and it absolutely was. And no disrespect to Sweden and Finland, but I would have liked to see maybe like 1 or 2 more nations come into the forefront as well, not just these 4, because I do feel like that there's some other nations that could provide a boost of competitiveness, not just like because to me it felt like it was more so like I was waiting to see USA and Canada as opposed to seeing like USA, Sweden, or like Finland and Canada. You know what I mean? I feel like there should be like more competitiveness by adding some more nations like in the future. But I thought this inaugural season of it definitely step into the right direction. I think it's kind of a la like the NBA Cup, like what Adam Silver's trying to do in basketball. Yep. In NHL, like what Gary Bettman's trying to do. I think it was a massive success. And in terms of them going to the Olympics, I'm excited for that as well. This Four Nations Face-Off, I think, is kind of like prepared me to like see like how it can be like a global scale, like in the like Olympic setting where like matters, the stakes are high. You're going to have more nations in there. I'm really looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the fact is the Canada Cup, the World Cup, it was during the summer. It's the perfect time to have this kind of tournament because if you have a major injury in the Olympics, let alone the Four Nations, to an Austin Matthews, to a Jack Eichel, to Connor McDavid, it's just going to be a disaster for the NHL. And I mean, with Russia not being a part of the Four Nations, Tony and I have had talked about this a number of times. I mean, it definitely lost its luster. Russia being such a powerhouse, they could have been a real contender to win this tournament. And there was something lost with Russia not being there. And, Tony, obviously, when you think of international competition with hockey, you think about Marie-Philippe Poulin and the Sochi Olympics with her golden goals. You think about Sidney Crosby's golden goal in the 2010 Olympics, Mario Lemieux at that 87 Canada Cup. Connor McDavid's golden goal against the United States. I mean, it was a really exciting moment, and especially it was the first time where you have this, the explosion of social media, and yeah, I mean, of course, there was to a degree in 2010, but not like what it is now. I mean, where do you think Connor McDavid's golden goal ranks between the goals that we have seen, the moments that we've seen in international competition with our country?
Well, I think you kind of nailed it there with talking about who, what age group, I guess, if you want to discuss which age group will remember this goal. I mean, I wouldn't put it on top 10 on my list just because I don't, even though the tournament was great and it was exciting and I didn't expect it to be as hotly contested as it was and as emotionally driven as it was. I guess I should have, because hockey players are a different breed. Yeah, the Summit Series in '72. I know none of us were born for that, but I've watched boatloads of content on that series between Canada and USSR. That was the first time we got to see this mystery USSR juggernaut, and they went head to head, and the storylines behind that. If you guys ever get a chance to go on YouTube and watch Alan Eagleson almost get arrested by the KGB in Moscow during one of the games, and the Canadian players had to skate over and pull him away. The Salt Lake City gold medal, which the first in 50 years for Canada, Sidney Crosby's goal, Mario Lemieux's 1987 game winner. There's so many ahead of it, and you're right. Because it involved all teams. It was clearly truly best on best, and this Four Nations wasn't, because Russia wasn't involved. So I would never put it. And if you want to put women's and juniors, you want to add women and juniors as well, I wouldn't put it in the top 10. There's been a lot of great moments in junior hockey as well.
Certainly, without a doubt. But it was an exciting moment, especially, I mean, you could just see how hungry those players were for all four of those nations, because it's been so long. It was the first time in their careers where Austin Matthews represented the United States as a professional player. I mean, along with McKinnon, along with, I believe, Barkov, and but Maddie, in February, they're going to be going for the gold medal, and Olympic gold is what a lot of hockey players yearn for beyond the Stanley Cup. Really, and I was just a baby when the 1980 Miracle on Ice happened, but sports fans of that age, especially in the United States, really watched and were drawn to the Miracle on Ice. And it's really unfortunate from my end, because hockey and the NHL didn't capitalize from the Miracle on Ice and expand and enhance this product as what it is. I mean, so with the recent success of Four Nations, how important is it for the United States to capture Olympic gold? Because I think if that is the case, there's going to be a massive opportunity for growth of hockey in the United States.
Well, obviously, the Four Nations Faceoff final was one of the best hockey games I've ever seen in my lifetime. I'll just put that out there and just call it for what it was. I think this Olympic tournament is going to be huge for the United States, because if you remember, that Four Nations Faceoff, they stacked as the best possible Americans that they could find on that USA team, and nobody sat out for that. They were going full eggs in the basket with that, and they just came up short against their biggest rival. But I think United States, gold medal on the line, Winter Olympics around the corner, they're going to do everything they can again. They're going to put their eggs in one basket, get full ammunition for this. And I think if you're the United States, you're aiming for this so badly, because it's been forever since the Miracle on Ice where the United States hasn't had true supremacy in hockey, and they've been yearning for that. Because keep in mind, not to throw you guys under the bus, but Canada hasn't won a Stanley Cup since, 1993?
1993? Absolutely.
So it kind of irks the United States that, okay, we can win Stanley Cup finals, but we can't win a gold medal. Because, in my opinion,
That's because there's a lot of Canadians on those American teams. That's why.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, I think for the United States, I think they're trying to give it a sense like, okay, we can win Stanley Cups. We have people from all across the country on our American teams, but we want to win ourselves, like our born and bred citizens winning a gold medal for our country. Because I think a gold medal means way more than any other accolade you can get for an athlete. I'm just being completely honest because
Well, I mean, in 1996, the United States won the World Cup of Hockey, and it was the first time it was called the World Cup. I mean, they changed it, the format from Canada Cup to World Cup. If that World Cup happened this past summer, I think that would be a great platform for American eyes to watch the World Cup of Hockey. And it was a great tournament. Tony, I think the championship, the final of that World Cup, I think it was in Philadelphia. I can't remember, but I mean, like, with social media, now in place, and if that turn, sorry,
I think
Tony,
they won in Montreal. I think it was in Montreal. They won. I think.
Okay. Yeah. No, it was so long ago, but again, and personally, Kevin was saying about he had Canada. I thought USA was the favorite for sure. Binnington, yeah, sure, he played his heart out, but nobody thought that he would have the kind of tournament that he had. The fresh legs that the United States have compared to the Sidney Crosbys and the Marchands. I thought that the U.S. Was really poised to take that game, and of course, they won the preliminary round match in Montreal. But it's really exciting to see. And USA's program, and of course, the World Juniors. USA have won 2 straight. The United States is just they have a really strong thing going for hockey. So we're talking about the international game and didn't bring up the NHL at all. What better time to talk about biggest story of the NHL season? Who cares to go first?
Well, my biggest thing for the NHL, and I think this is the story that we've been following along the entire regular season, was Alex Ovechkin's pursuit of the all-time goals record. I think that was the main thing that people were following. I was certainly following that storyline. I watched the game against the Islanders where he scored against Ilya Sorokin, the one goalie that had his number the entire time, and he did it. And I just remember that stadium went crazy when it happened. I remember him doing the belly flop across the ice. It was just an historic moment. And to have Wayne Gretzky, the best ever in NHL history, be there to give him the honor, I thought that itself was a moment. And I think it is the sole moment that stands out just because this past year's Stanley Cup Finals was not as good as last year's.
Well, no, it certainly wasn't compared to last year for sure.
That's a good one. I was going to say the Stanley Cup Final going back-to-back Florida, Edmonton was, and I think Brad Marchand being traded to the Panthers at the deadline. Nobody saw that coming.
Yes.
Was, I know he's an older player and stuff, but I think that caught a lot of people by surprise. And it helped them win the Stanley Cup again back-to-back. But I think the overall emergence of young players in the league right now, I think we're in very good hands for the game moving forward. Celebrini, Bedard, Cale Makar is still a young guy, and he's incredible. Not to mention the countless amount of American players who are making their way through that U.S. developmental program, which is doing great things for the game of hockey. So I would say the future of this league has been the biggest story.
Kevin?
Yeah, I'm Tony. I was thinking the same thing. I like the emergence of these young superstars like coming into the forefront. Like Macklin Celebrini's really coming into his own. Connor McDavid is doing his thing. Matthew Schaefer with the New York Islanders. Like he's been very
Absolutely.
incredible to watch. Like I do agree that the young rising superstars are like making teams more competitive. And I think like even the Islanders, like in previous years past, they've been kind of like a pushover in the Metropolitan Division, but now they're actually look like a legit contender to me this season because of the guys like Matthew Schaefer have really like stepped up their game and kind of gave the Islanders new life, as opposed to what they've been missing all season long, which has been like young prowess and like Macklin Celebrini with the Sharks, Connor Bedard with the Blackhawks, and all these other guys too. So like I agree with Tony.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely. I think the biggest story is Alex Ovechkin. I think he's just fantastic for the game. Really, just the power that he has and how physical he is. He's just an absolute machine. And I'm not saying that this is the biggest story, but the absolute bad luck that the Vancouver Canucks have had in terms of losing poor Horvat. Then they had the soap opera between JT Miller and Elias Pettersson, Quinn Hughes. It was just the writing was on the wall that he's going to go to Kevin's Devils, and Thatcher Demko not being healthy at all. They have just had so much bad luck, and not the biggest story of the year, but the Vancouver Canucks, they just whatever luck they have, it's certainly bad. That's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Over to the hardcourt, fellas. Tony, there is something going on with the NBA, and I think that we can say that athletes today put in an incredible amount of effort in the off season between baseball players, basketball players, and so on. And, but the reality is that they are, their star players are taking a lot of games off for rest or so on. How much of a problem is this? Or is this just going to be a reality that sports fans are just going to accept? Something tells me that if last year when the San Antonio Spurs were in the basement, they would not want to have Victor Wembanyama on the floor, because if he gets hurt, then and it's a severe injury, then Spurs fans are going to say, what is the point? So how much of a problem is this?
Spurs fans are going to say, I paid good money to come watch this guy play. I want to watch him play.
Well, what about in the future? Like, I mean,
the thing. I don't know how to answer that question anymore. Like I know that for myself, the NBA has lost me in a big way because of situations like that, because a certain timeline of players, a certain era of players have turned me off the game through load management, through their attempts at being, social justice warriors, fake activists. They've alienated a lot of people, including me. And that's one of the reasons why. I actually think that the league moving forward is in good shape, because I think younger players coming in this league aren't going to be like them, right? Now, the problem the NBA has is not having a prominent American guy as the face of the league right now. I mean, I don't know what everybody thinks about Cooper Flagg, but let's be honest here. I think the preference would be to have an African-American face of the NBA.
I don't know.
You could say, you don't know about that, but that's reality, right? That's the preference. Right now, the Euros are dominating the NBA, and of course, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who's not American, he's Canadian. Yeah. And so I think that's the real issue, is who is the next guy? for the NBA because I don't see these guys taking games off. I see these guys performing for fans. I see it kind of coming back into place, but I think the best thing for the league would be to watch the era that we've been watching the last 15, 20 years is kind of set off into the sunset, go away, and
Oh, Tony, are you is Tony frozen on your end?
I believe so.
Oh, geez, and he was. Okay, yeah, we'll get Tony back in a second here. But what do you guys think? With regards to what Tony said, I think that there is something about Nikola Jokic just doesn't have the flash. He doesn't have the jump. Dirk Nowitzki didn't have the explosiveness of, say, an Anthony Edwards and so on. Now, in the little bit of time that I saw Cooper Flag and highlights and so on, he seems to have that. What do you guys think? I mean, I think that yes, there is a missing component of an elite, an American star. I think we have Tony back here. Tony, you want to finish? Yeah, you want to finish your thought?
Where did I leave off? Sorry.
Low management.
Yeah, I think the last thing I was saying. I think the last thing what would benefit the NBA, because TV ratings don't mean much anymore. There's a global reach for the league that no other North American sports league can enjoy like the NBA. YouTube hits, views online, those make a big difference now. That's why guys like Jimmy Kimmel and Steve Colbert are still on the air. Because if it was about just TV ratings, they would have been out of jobs a long time ago because they're just not funny anymore. But
but you know what? I'm sorry if my Raptors are playing a game, I'm watching the whole thing. I have to think that teenagers are doing the same thing. I'm sorry. I do think that there is an element of kids watching basketball games, but maybe they're more so watching the YouTube hits. I think they're doing one thing, but they're doing another thing 2 times more.
Yeah.
Tony, right. I think Tony's frozen again.
Possible.
Yeah. But if there is one thing I can say, like, I've said for the last year plus, if there was any American star that really could burst open and maybe take ownership and maybe take the reins as the NBA top player, I've been saying Anthony Edwards for a while now. I like him. He's explosive. He can shoot the three. He has power when he dunks. Like, this guy seems like the whole package. I know that there's also a couple Nova Knicks in Madison Square Garden but that's a team-oriented thing. Anthony Edwards seems like the complete package on the American side, but
who's
Nikola
the next
Jokic,
one?
Victor Wembanyama.
But Maddie, who's the next American? I mean, personally, I thought John Morant could have been that guy.
Same. I honestly had John Morant being the next best American player for a long time, and then he kind of fell off a cliff. Mm-hmm. Mentally, he fell off a cliff.
Yeah. Injuries as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
yeah. Please, Maddie, go ahead.
But I think it all depends on how these people handle and carry themselves on and off the court. And I feel like these Americans have so much pressure to perform in their own country, because especially like big markets like New York and maybe even Minnesota and Los Angeles, they have a lot of buzz, a lot of publicity that everyone's watching you. And with people like Jokic and people like Shedeur Sanders, who's a Canadian, as mentioned before, they feel the need to just let's go out there and perform, and that's it. Like, literally, Nikola Jokic, if you go to every press conference, he's like, I don't know something about that.
Well, have you ever seen him party in Serbia? I mean, that man is an absolute lunatic.
Oh no! A standard Nikola Jokic press conference is, I play a game. I want to win. I want to ride my horse.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Most unserious MVP ever.
But this is a guy who goes from the second round to be, like, he's obviously putting in the work off the court, because you don't become a mid-second round pick to be a 3-time MVP, threatening for another one here. But you know, Maddie, I wanted to touch on what you were saying about pressure. I don't know if it's so much about pressure. I think it's about entitlement. I mean, you're getting paid millions upon millions, and you know it's guaranteed dough.
Yeah.
And you know you have the world at your fingertips, and with a guy like Jokic, Shea seems to you know have a really strong work ethic. I mean, how long is that going to last? How long is it going to last in the NHL? I mean, yeah, they put themselves on the line during Four Nations, but I mean, with the NHL salary cap is going to rise significantly.
Correct.
And I think that the NBA salary, what's Gilgeous Alexander's getting $70 million a season. Jaylen Brown, like, I mean, I think it's about entitlement, to tell you the truth.
It could definitely be about entitlement, and that's probably why we're seeing low management and players sitting out of games because they think, oh, I'm entitled to do what I want because I'm a big star and I think I've earned my own reason to take the day off and maybe not perform as well. But then the NBA gambling arrests happen. And now the NBA is under a massive, massive microscope because now every little thing that these players do, not making a shot, turning the ball over carelessly, sitting out of games, an injury, it's all going to be questioned now because of what Terry Rozier was accused of, because of Chauncey Billups, and because of Damon Jones. Like, these three guys set a precedent for the NBA that they didn't want to have. And now the NBA is going to be questioned more, not just for that, but for the NBA draft lottery as well. That's everything is going to come into question.
Yeah, no. Okay, yeah, Tony's having a little bit of issues with his device here. I think he's going to try it again. Hey, buddy, how's everything going over there?
This is can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can.
This is crazy. My phone started telling me it's overheating and it just shut everything down. I couldn't even I actually came outside to walk the dog so I could cool off a bit. Sorry.
This is legendary. I love it. I love it.
I apologize.
Let's see the pooch. No, it's all. Let's see the pooch.
Huh? There she is.
Dog.
Cypress,
hey.
say hi. Say hi. Say hi.
The dog's name is Cypress. I love
She's
it.
She's like, get me the fuck in. It's freezing, dick.
I don't blame her.
Awesome. Yeah. So, you know, Kev, as we go on here, star players have been they obviously have been shut down for the season. Halliburton goes down, Lillard goes down, Tatum goes down, and all with Achilles injuries. There has been discussion on if there are too many games in the NBA season. I mean, look, who knows what kind of injuries the Isaiah Thomases and the Michael Jordans and Kobe, Shaq, all those cats had back in the day. But there's no way that they were going to be playing ball with an Achilles injury. And look, those players back in the day did not have the workout regimen that these guys have now.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you stand on this? I mean, is there a point that these players may have if they do believe that 82 games is too much for a regular season?
Well, I can see like both ways. Like I could see like on the player's perspective how like 82 games might be too much, but also you have to look at it on the other side of the coin. And like you talked about it, having the proper workout regimen, taking care of your body the right way. You look at guys like Joel Embiid and Zion Williamson. Both of those players have not really taken care of their body well for the most part, and you call them injury prone because that's exactly what they are. I mean, Zion has barely been healthy like a full season in his career, and Joel Embiid isn't even playing right now because of his injuries and his load management, as well as we talked about before. But then those Achilles injuries like that happen to Lillard, Halliburton, and Tatum, stuff like that can happen to you if you're not taking care of your body correctly, or if it's just at an unfortunate a time, like in the season. In these cases, it happened in the playoffs. And for Damian Lillard's case, he went back to Portland and he signed a 2-year deal as like a cushion to get himself 1 year to recover and 1 year to go back to Portland. So,
but maybe Kevin, it's that they're working out too hard at the gym. I mean, you guys as ball fans, baseball fans. I mean, I think that's exactly the reason why pitchers are dropping like flies, because they're hitting the weights too hard.
You could definitely overwork yourself for sure. Like I've done it myself before. I've done too much to where I strain my muscles too much. Like I was hurt for like days. That definitely can happen. And of course, in a sport like basketball, where it's fast paced, you need to have your speed down. You need to have the physicality to be able to shoot the basketball and be able to defend. Stuff like that can happen for sure. Obviously, like you look at a different sport like football, where you're seeing all these injuries be run rampant and pile up because it's of the physicality of the sport. But for basketball, although it's less physical than football in this case, I do feel like it definitely comes down to your workout regimen and how well you take care of your body. I don't think like the 82 game thing is like that big of a deal in terms of like it being too much, because you got to look at other sports too. Baseball, that's 162 games. Players get hurt all the time. And for whether if it's their workout regimens or if it's because of the sport, like you can get hit the face, you can hurt your arm, you can blow your arm out, stuff like that can happen. But I think ultimately it all boils down to how you take care of yourself and if you are ready to be able to play the sport that you're getting paid millions and millions of dollars for.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, obviously, baseball, there isn't as much strain beyond a pitcher compared to a sport like basketball. But you certainly make a solid point. Tony, I do want to get back to what we were discussing before you had the tech issues there. But, Maddie, I have to say that there is something about the Oklahoma City Thunder that I find extremely intriguing, especially with basketball. I really can't put my finger on it, to tell you the truth, because you have these mega cities like New York and especially Chicago over the last 20 years. Miami, of course, did have a run with LeBron there, but, take away those 4 years, you don't have an incredible amount of success with the Miami Heat. But I don't see anybody really wanting to break the door down to get to Oklahoma City until this current crop. Obviously, they got drafted there. Yeah, sure. Caruso got traded there. Hartenstein got traded there, and so on. But the NBA does focus on the big cities and, of course, the good teams for their marquee matchups. I mean, I do believe, I don't think I'm being biased at all when saying that the Toronto Raptors do get screwed over not being able to play on Christmas, because they did have a certain amount of success when the Knicks didn't. And the Portland Trailblazers, yeah, sure, they had Damian Lillard, but I mean, so what? But is this something that the NBA appreciates, with the smallest city in their NBA family being as dominant? Because the way I see it is that the Thunder is going to be a force to be reckoned with for many years to come. But like, would the NBA benefit more with the Bulls and the Lakers and so on being those juggernaut teams?
So I think the Oklahoma City Thunder is an amazing case, because it's not just the fact that they are a small market team and they did it for the state of Oklahoma. It's the fact that this team a few years ago was so bad and they were so young and so inexperienced. But then you look at what Sam Presti, their top executive, did, and all of a sudden you see that this team built up, they got better, and so on. And they're the best team in the NBA by a country mile, and no one has a problem with that whatsoever. And listen, the Lakers are the Lakers. I mean, they're going to get trounced by Oklahoma City every chance they get. Although there's one team in the Western Conference that just seems to have their number, but it's not the Lakers. But hey, listen, I think it was a frenzy back in the 90s when the Bulls won 6 NBA championships in one decade. because it's Chicago and it's a big market. But I get your point about the Thunder. I think it's.
But you know what?
think
San Antonio has a great following as well, and I don't really think the NBA lost a lot of money with the Spurs and their success.
They did not, and they're
Yeah.
now rebuilding things back up right now with the Spurs as we speak.
Sure.
But I think it just depends on the star power of a team that makes the NBA really good. Like if the top team in the NBA is loaded with stars, then I guess you can get away with it. But Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is arguably the best player in the NBA right now, and the Thunder have a bunch of young studs on the roster that are just so talented that you're okay with letting this go the way it is. Now, if teams like the Knicks, who have 4 or 5 players from Villanova on there, make a run, if they win the NBA championship, oh my God, the NBA would lose their minds. They probably rake in a lot of money because it's New York and it's the Knicks, a team that hasn't won a championship in 52, 53 years. But for a team like the Thunder, it's an interesting case because, yes, they're a small market, but they're talented. And they have a really good bunch of players on that team.
They sure are. Absolutely. Tony, I do want to get back to what you were discussing there about American players and everything else. No, I don't agree with the whole notion of specifically a Black American being a star. Like, I mean, if Cooper Flag could be what he's projected to be, I think it would be an incredible. I think that would be the infusion that American basketball needs. I mean, take a look at the whole Kobe versus LeBron debate. How many people actually bring in Steph Curry? Because to me, Steph Curry is more of a game changer than Kobe and LeBron, quite frankly, because he's jacking up all those threes, and then the league has become more of a three-point shooting league. Nikola Jokic is just not flashy enough. I mean, Tim Duncan, the big fundamental and one of the greatest power forwards, if not the greatest power forward, he's just not flashy enough. If Cooper Flag has that step, and that's what we were talking about as you were taking care of your tech issues there, if he has a jump and if he could jam it like Anthony Edwards, I don't think people could care less a black, white, or green, whatever. What do you think?
Sorry.
There we go.
I disagree with your disagreement. I think just again, it's just observations following the media and the way they basketball media, football media, the way they racialize things. I think they put a big priority on it. Look at what Kendrick Perkins did to Jokic 2 years ago. Basically,
and he got criticized for it hard.
Basically, but did Jokic lose the MVP race? So it worked, right? Was Embiid really the better player? I don't think so.
Nope.
We can't be naive. I mean, I know people always want to say, "Oh, you can't have uncomfortable conversation." This is an uncomfortable conversation that a lot of people aren't willing to have.
Let's go.
It's the absolute truth. There is a priority on this stuff now. They put a lot of emphasis. I don't want to talk about it, but I have no choice, right? I have no choice to talk about it because they throw this shit in our faces every day. I don't care who the face of the NBA is, whether he's white or black. I just want him to be good. I know you guys mentioned Anthony Edwards, which I think would be a great face for the league, but he doesn't want it. He said he doesn't want it. And, so the answers are, I don't know. I have no idea, but it is a conversation. It is something I believe 100% it's a preference, right? You're telling me Stephen A. Smith is not gonna have something to say about that if it's Cooper Flag and nobody else that you're gonna talk? Come on, $20 million a year to scream at the top of your lungs for your community. He's not gonna.
Now, I personally don't watch American sports media, and what you were talking about before, when with Shedeur Sanders and the sideshow that is Shedeur Sanders. A couple of years ago was LeVar Ball, and you think about the continuous Jordan versus LeBron debate, and that Stephen A. Smith and these loudmouths who are on whether it be ESPN or on social media, they have to keep on being loud, and there's no way that they're spitting out what they are believing in what they are saying. I mean, I think they're just making up a narrative. I don't really believe Kendrick Perkins when he says that it's a racial thing. I think he's just looking for an angle just to get views. I mean, I think now we are at a point where I could say the most ridiculous thing, but it's not about legitimacy anymore. It's about saying the most bombastic thing to get more views, to keep on getting those views, and keep on saying more outrageous things.
And it's working. And a lot of people believe it. You know, you can, especially at the
But I don't.
11, 10, especially at the 10 a.m. At the 10 a.m. time slot. Who the fuck is watching at 10 a.m. in the morning? People who are unemployed, for the most part, right? So they'll believe anything you tell them. So it's working. The point is, it's working. And it's out there. Whether they believe it or not, I think some of them do believe it. But yeah, you're absolutely right. A lot of people don't believe it, but they're just using that as a narrative for their own clicks. It becomes a part of their shtick, right? Ryan Clark's become really good at it in ESPN football. But yeah, no, I see what you're saying, Randy. But the point is, people buy it. They buy into it, and it worked. It worked. Jokic got screwed out of an MVP for that reason.
Sure. Okay. Jokic, that's one thing. Now, from what I saw, again, I don't analyze American sports media. Is there something about,
we have two Americans here. We could ask them.
No, absolutely. And I'd love to get their thoughts on this because back when Embiid won MVP, the argument was Jokic potentially winning 3 MVPs in a row when Michael Jordan didn't. Now, I don't know why that would be an argument to not give a guy an MVP, but in terms of basketball, well, I guess maybe even football as well, because there's a lot of great podcasts that are out there. I don't know if you follow, what is that, Club 520 with Jeff Teague, but I don't know if all of these podcasts were running with Kendrick Perkins' line. And I guess, not only with you two being American, but you two being of a social media age, being in your 20s, do you guys think that Kendrick Perkins has more of a voice than, say, I don't know, enter said social media podcaster here?
Well, when you work for a high-profile company that is owned by Disney, you are definitely going to have your voice emphasized, and your points are going to be validated, and your points are going to be, blown up in smoke online, and people are going to like it or hate it, but you can't ignore it because it's ESPN. Like I said, Disney has all the power, all these big networks. They're going to make sure that their analysts and their personnel get heard out. Specifically ESPN, because ESPN is the focal point of all sports networks because they came before anyone else came. But social media podcasters do have some influence over a suburban internet community, people that maybe not watch cable TV consistently, people that are digitally glued to Twitter, that want to see something fresh or something, different or edgy that might sway with them. And I feel like that's cool, but it's not going to get over as well as an ESPN person like Kendrick Perkins, per se, because they have a lot of power and a big platform.
Kev, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. To echo Matt's point, like I think like the bigger company that you're talking for, I think is definitely going to influence your sway in the matter more, because you got to think about it. Kendrick Perkins works for ESPN, and like I think the average sports watcher is probably going to take the person who's working for ESPN as opposed to a podcast that maybe that they don't really know too much about it, as opposed to the other person. So I think I agree that like the publicity of a person and the sway that they have with the higher company that they're going to have is definitely going to matter more to the average person than, say, a podcaster would. But I also think it depends on the audience, because a podcaster can know something that way better than a Stephen A could. Like, to me, like, I don't really trust guys like Stephen A, like Kendrick Perkins. I don't really take their word for anything. I formulate my own thing, and then I see if other people agree with me or not. So I really don't take that gospel and all that. But I do believe like the average person would listen more to a person that has a bigger influence of a company as opposed to a person who's just doing a podcast. So that's my philosophy on it.
Is it going to be like that in 10 years? I don't think so. I mean, take a look at ABC, NBC versus Netflix and Amazon Prime.
True, yeah.
Is it going to shift to the floor? Like, I mean, is ESPN going to have that voice and that influence in 10, 15 years? Tony, what do you think? I don't see it.
Look, I think it's possible that they don't. I think podcasts, that platform is growing exponentially, and I think we all probably have different things that people that we listen to and get perspectives that way. But when you have that kind of money behind you, you're always going to have a chance, I guess. And for some reason, these people aren't going away. These guys aren't, like, guys like this are continuing to get paid like large sums of money to bloviate and scream at the top of their lungs at nothing in particular.
I know.
So figure that out. I don't know the answers, right? Like, I'm like you. I don't consume. The only time I consume it is when it pops up on my timeline and stuff, and I have a good laugh over it because I'm sitting there like, what the hell did I just hear? Like, it was a whole bunch of nothing.
Bunch of baloney.
And I'm like you, Kevin. Like, I have eyes, I have ears. I think I have a pretty solid knowledge of sports, and I formulate it that way. And I try and listen to people who don't have ulterior motives and are objective and just cover sports for what it is, being sports. But unfortunately, we're losing that more and more. Like you just had some pictures at a journalist event, Randy. You were there with Stephen Brunt and Westhead. Another guy locally here, Steve Simmons. They're not going to make them like that anymore. It's going to be hard. It's going to be very hard. But I don't know. I don't know the answer. I'm babbling right now. I really don't know the answer. But it's
no. I mean, I think that what you're saying is the truth. They are not interested in having a legitimate discussion like the four of us are having right now, because does this get the ratings? Like what we are discussing right now, let's say we were on an elite platform versus somebody who says, Cooper Flag is hooking up with I don't know, Tyrese Halliburton's mom or something like that. Like, I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, are they going to buy into the sensationalism over a legit discussion? Matt, Kevin, what do you guys see in your crystal ball?
Unfortunately, Randy, I think, they're probably going to go for that sensationalism, because ultimately I think it's about engagement and entertainment rather than actual, like facts and knowledge at that point. That's just the way it goes. Like, because overall, like, ESPN and sports are an entertainment industry. Like, there's no doubt about it. Because whenever you dive down and like deep into the knowledge and the facts and all that sport, people don't necessarily want to hear that. They just want to hear like the hot topic. Like what's this like topic that people want to hear about? What's it called? Bill Belichick and his girlfriend, his relationship.
Oh yeah.
They want to hear about that. They don't want to hear about like, look at how good this team is doing. Like the Jaguars. They don't want to hear about that. They want to hear about what's going on with Belichick and why the age gap. Is
Do
so
they
big.
really though? I don't know. Who the hell
I think so.
Like, sure, she's easy on the eyes, but who cares? I mean, like, they're not going to lose ratings if ESPN does not talk about Jordan Hudson or whatever her last name is. Is it Hudson?
Yeah,
I think so,
I believe
yeah.
so.
Okay, yeah, sure. Like, they're not going to lose ratings Come on. Like, I'm obviously not going against you, Kevin, but like,
Right.
like, I mean, like this since, give me a break. I it's just, it's a real shame that it has come down to this. It really has. We do need to talk about baseball as well. I do want to get your biggest story very quickly. A couple more segments to go, but great discussion with regards to basketball. Quickest, very quickly, is there a big story? Well, actually, Tony's mentioning, hey, Tony, I know that you're having more tech issues. You do have an early start tomorrow. If you want to get going, we'll definitely understand. Tony, you're on mute, buddy.
Oh, yeah, no, I do have to cut out soon. I got a long day tomorrow, so I need some sleep. And my battery's my battery's actually down to like 10% now. What a disaster.
You know what, Tony, it is all good. It's all good. Why don't you, we'll definitely catch up.
You had a Major League Baseball question? Sorry, I can.
Well, yeah, you know what? Why don't we skip baseball? The Yankees and the Blue Jays are going to meet in the ALCS. Whatever happens.
I hope you're right.
Yeah, it's going to happen. John Welch, kudos to your Mariners, but it's Yankees Jays. We'll go. We will skip baseball, basketball. We know the big story, the issues with the gambling items that took place with the with Billups and so on. Let's go to straight facts, bro. Relax. It is the final segment of the show, and usually we have a couple of questions for Straight Facts, Bro, Relax. But because it is our year in review show, we are going to hammer through what we believe is the top sporting moment of 2025. Tony, why don't you lead it off for us? Your sporting moment for the calendar, for 2025.
Well, I mean, we'll get back to baseball on that one. Obviously, since this is Voice of the Fan Canada, we cannot not talk about the Toronto Blue Jays run of the World Series. I mean, first of all, it was unexpected. So the fact that it was unexpected makes it that much special. It was an incredible run. This city hasn't seen something like this since 2019, obviously, when the Raptors had their run. There was incredible energy. And I think now that a couple of months have passed since that Game 7, it really was a phenomenal series. I mean, I hope the players look back at that and said, we were that close. And it's almost like there was no clear better team in this. I mean, that's how close it was. It was such an incredible series, one for the ages. I can't think of another series better than what I saw in my lifetime. So I hope we take that and let's see if they can get back into it. But I mean, that has to be the story of 2025 for us here in this area.
It was a great time for sure. Maddie, your sporting moment.
Well, at least you can feel that right there. My guy, the rookie for the Yankees, came to strike out 12 batters in a winner-take-all Game 3 against the Boston Red Sox in the AL wild card. The reason why this is my favorite sports moment is because this kid grew up minutes away from Fenway Park. Lifetime Boston Red Sox fan. Pressure, Game 3, winner take all, winner advance to the next round. And he strikes out his hometown team 12 times in the 8 innings. Looked dominant. Great command. No Red Sox got past second base. And he did it in just like quick order. Like, he was just on fire that night. And, we've seen a lot of rookie pitchers make very strong impressions in the playoffs, but Cam Slittler started it all. And for me as a Yankees fan, it just brings me optimism for the future. And, I like the way that, well, it's against Boston too. Anything about being Boston. Great. And to add more fuel to the fire, this dude took to social media and managed to bash every Boston Red Sox fan he can on Twitter like a savage.
I love it.
Kevin, how about yourself?
Well, a quick honorable mention for one. Sorry, Randy, but I have to say it. When Aaron Judge hit that 3-run homer and tied the game against Luis Varland, that's an honorable mention for me because that was finally Aaron Judge's postseason moment that he never got. So that's a big honorable mention. But for me personally, my favorite sports moment of 2025 happened in the beginning of the year when my UH Cougars upset Duke to get themselves to the national championship. Because that game, I couldn't believe that I had a feeling that they were going to get to Duke, but I did not think that they were actually going to beat Duke. I had a sense that they could have. Me and Matt, and we did a March Madness bracket challenge, and I was the only one that picked the national championship matchup correctly. I said Florida against Houston in one bracket, and it was just that. I was so happy because keep in mind, this is a Duke team that had Cooper Flagg, Con Kneppel, Tyrese Proctor. Two of those three guys are now in the NBA right now. And all I was hearing up into that season was Duke this, Duke that. Cooper Flagg is the best thing since sliced bread. And my UH Cougars, my alma mater that I went to, they beat them in the Final Four. They were down by 16 points that game, came all the way back and beat them in the final seconds. I was just so elated, and Matt knows the video. I even showed him the whole video. I was like,
I got the video.
I haven't been that elated in a sports moment in a long time. That Aaron Judge moment was awesome. It made me jump out of my seat. But that UH win against Duke definitely took the cake for me as far as my favorite moment.
There is something about big upsets, especially in March Madness, and as a Cougars alum, Houston must have just been on fire with the exuberant celebration. Well, obviously with Tony and myself, the city, the province, the country of Canada, we're just so captivated by the Blue Jays and their World Series run. However, I'm thinking of in the future, what's going to happen if and when the Blue Jays win the World Series? How is this going to rank in terms of best sporting moment? My favorite sport to play is golf, and there is nothing more special for a guy like myself than seeing Rory McIlroy win the Masters and the career Grand Slam, especially since it was 11 years since his last major championship. He needed the jacket to complete the career Grand Slam, and Rory McIlroy is just everything what golf needed. He doesn't have the dominance of Tiger Woods, but he definitely has the charisma. I am a massive McIlroy fan, and for me, Rory McIlroy winning the Masters was my favorite moment of 2025. What I did want to do very quickly is to tally up everybody's thoughts to their top moment selection. So a first place vote is going to get 3 points, second place 2 points, the third place moment will get 1 point. Tony, between Matt's, myself, and Kevin's sporting moment, what do you think is the top sports moment between our three selections? You're not going to be voting on yours.
Just out of your three, I'm just letting you know, just telling me it's overheating again. It's got to be Rory's Masters win. Sorry,
Rory's
guys.
Masters win? Okay.
Yeah.
And between Kevin and Matt?
Just how excited and emotional Kevin was telling us that story. We're going to go with University of Houston.
Okay. University of Houston, and Matt will have a third place vote. Okay, and Tony, if you do have to drop out, I understand completely. Thank you so much.
As long as I can hear you, I'll keep going. But if I drop out, I drop out.
All right, sounds good. Maddie, what are your thoughts, my friend?
Okay. I agree with Tony. I love Rory McIlroy winning the Masters. And when we had our award show on Foursquare earlier, less than a week ago, I put that as an honorable mention for best moment of the sports calendar. I honestly think I probably should have had that as a nominee. And if we did, I think that probably would have won because that was an uplifting moment. People wanted to see Rory do it. He wanted to complete the career Grand Slam. And just the way he did it, too. It was in a playoff hole. He missed the winning putt that would have got him out of a playoff, and then he did it. And the fans were going ecstatic. And just his emotion after he sunk that putt was just pure cinema.
Yeah. Yeah. And no, for sure. So between Tony's playoff run and the University of Houston, what do you think is your second place finisher?
Second place, I'm probably going to go to the University of Houston Cougars because the video of Kevin that I have speaks for itself. It was just, first off, Duke was seen as like the Goliath of the tournament. They weren't the number one overall seed, but they damn sure looked like the number one seed throughout the entire season. And Houston came back in that game. They were down double digits late, and they persevered and they won. And it's unfortunate what happened the very next round, but let's not think about that for Kevin's sake. But it was a very good win.
Certainly was. The upsets and, of course, the history of Duke versus Houston. And, sure, they had Fly Sama Jamma back in the day. But, that was a great moment. Kevin, what are your thoughts? Best sporting moment between myself, Matt, and Tony?
Well, I also really enjoyed Rory McIlroy winning the Masters. I think that's got to be because you got to understand, like even in tennis too, getting a calendar slam is a tough thing to do. And in golf, one of the most unforgiving sports you could play at a professional level, what Rory did, I thought was just very inspirational, and I really loved it. So I definitely agree and say Rory winning the Masters definitely took the cake out of all these. Second for me personally, I love what the Blue Jays did in their playoff run because I was very skeptical of the Blue Jays at first, and they're like what they were going to be in the postseason. They surprised me. Like they really did. I really liked the way that they played, and they showed me, like, even though they almost won it, they showed me that you don't need to be like the Dodgers and spend all this type of money on all-star players and deferred payments to be a world championship caliber team. And I think the Blue Jays playoff run definitely encapsulated that. And Cam Schlittler's 12 Ks was awesome. I love that it was against the Red Sox, being that much more sweeter. But I just think that that Rory winning the Masters and the Blue Jays playoff run, I think was too important, encapsulating both the team and what Rory was able to do, like in the whole sport. But what Cam Schlittler did was just one tiny Yankee moment. I think that made it really good.
Yeah. So for me, obviously, you know what my number one choice is going to be. And I got to tell you guys, I spent like a good $800 Canadian on Blue Jays playoff merchandise. I mean, it's been so who would have thought that they was going to make the World Series in the first? Who thought that they were going to beat the Yankees and get the first round bye? Like nobody thought about it around here. Baseball fans all over North America. And it was such a moment. Honestly, I actually got interviewed by 3 media outlets when I was at the Jays shop at the stadium. It was just such an incredible time. And, the team was so snake bit with Addison Barger's ball getting lodged into the wall and Kiner Falefa not having a leadoff. And, he's the slide, he was just like half a step short. But still, the Blue Jays and that run was just incredible. With due respect to Cam Schlittler and the performance against the Red Sox, that matchup must have been so great and so awesome for Yankee fans to actually have a former Red Sox fan, somebody growing up in that area, to stick it to the Red Sox and then troll back at those detractors and so on.
It was great.
One thing. Oh yeah, but I don't think you could beat an upset in NCAA. The magic of Division I playoff basketball is just incredible. So I'm going to have to go with the University of Houston. So if my math is right, it looks like the top moment would be Rory McIlroy winning the Masters and I'm a little surprised because I think, we don't really talk about golf on this podcast, and what is there really to talk about? But I think Rory McIlroy just has that ability to garner a lot of attention. And no, he's not Tiger Woods, but he doesn't really have to be.
No.
Yeah.
And like I said, you love it to see a veteran like Rory McIlroy complete something. Like Kevin said, the calendar slam in tennis is so hard to do. In golf, if you want the career Grand Slam, it's just win every major throughout your career. And Tiger Woods, like you mentioned, he won the career Grand Slam very, very, very quickly.
Yes, he did. It
took Rory McIlroy forever to win that career Grand Slam.
Yeah, 11 years since his last major, and then when he fell apart against Bryson, blowing that putt there, who would have thought that he was going to have the ability to come back and, of all things, not only win a major, but the one major that was eluding him for over a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much as always. Kevin, really great to have you on. Really hope that we could get you, Alec, or John, all of you. I mean, the passion that you guys have on Foursquare.
It's great.
And for the times that you guys invited me. I know I don't know squat about college sports, but it's always a great time, and it's really humbling to be invited. So say the word, fellas. I'm there.
One last thing I want to say, and I said this on Foursquare, and I'm going to say it again. If there's one person I got to credit for not just bringing Kevin and John and Alec together, but also connecting us with you, Randy, and everyone else, it's David Smith, Armchair. That's the one person I got to credit so much, because for those of you who aren't aware, he has this Discord, the Armchair Commentators Unite Discord. We were all once a part of a app called Colorcast that was doing really well. Then it disbanded, and then David Smith created this Discord where all of us are a part of it, and it's a phenomenal community. It's like the people are so knowledgeable. We connect, we do our own shows through that. Like we interact with one another, and the amount of knowledge that you get from some of the people in that Discord is insane. Now I don't know if there's going to be like a link to connect to the Discord or whatever. Like that's entirely Randy's choice. But but I have to give a shout out to David Smith Armchair for allowing us to connect with people like you, Randy, because if it weren't for David, this wouldn't be possible.
Absolutely.
Couldn't agree more, because I personally never heard of Discord until Colorcast fell apart. And Armchair, like myself, I think we're the only two Canadians out of a 95-member Discord.
Right, yeah.
And the knowledge that he has, the passion that he has, the sense of community that he has. He has been on this podcast. It was a great chat, and really hope that we can lift a glass one day and in person, because he is the reason why that we've gotten together, and really he's the reason why that I've maintained this podcast, because between the two of you guys, Alec and John, Lily Schumacher, shout out to Lily, Jake Cardinale, Matt Hoffman, Armchair really has is the reason why that this podcast is able to get some great people on the show. So shout out to you, sir, and shout out to you guys as well. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
For Tony Antoniou, Matt Siriani, and Kevin Zelicskovics, I'm Randy Coure. This is Voice of the Fans Canada. Hope you're doing well and keeping safe. We will talk to you next time. Happy New Year.